Welcome back, everybody. We're going into the conclusion of today's episode of Court of Swords, the final bits of the Primordial Arc. Currently, though, there's some orc trash to clean up. So these hulking beasts have ambushed you in the pass and are being whittled down. Yet remains their strange half-breed clad in armor and one warrior. Thorn, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Let's go into hide to get that advantage on the attack roll.
All right.
Totally, that's enough.
I mean, yeah, with the stealth field,
right.
these guys aren't paying any attention.
As long as it's not a 1, you're pretty good.
So now you have advantage, and if you hit, it is you get to use your sneak attack. And who are you shooting at? The big guy?
The big guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish with the big guy.
That sounds
hopefully.
good. Yeah.
That's a 3.
Yeah, but you have advantage.
But I have advantage, right? So
roll that again.
I just got really depressed.
Like, God dang it! That's
all
better.
right, that's more like.
Okay. All right.
So we hit him, not a crit. So how many?
But you still get 1d6 plus your sneak attack.
Yep. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's pretty good.
It's all right.
9, 12, and then what's your modifier?
4.
Just barely kill him. Like
Yeah.
within 1 hit point. So he keels over dead.
Love it.
It would help if I clicked the right thing. There we go. Yeah, so this guy, I always got to check with these guys in case they have like a comeback from the dead thing. But yeah, so they're all really occupied with this bear dwarf situation, and the two of you are just firing shots into the melee. And yeah, he takes a swing at you, which you block. It leaves him open. He staggers back, and then you just fire an arrow under his arm, through his armor, and like right into his chest.
When they surprise attack me, it's
Yeah,
my revenge.
and he grabs at his chest, like kind of pawing at it, like, and like sees the arrow, and then like pitches over and dies. So, Vama, it's your turn.
Batman!
Time to say Vamanos to these guys.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just attacking the
But
last
there's
one.
Vamados left.
There's only one, just this guy. That's it.
That's the other one's him. Dang. I really wanted to make that joke work.
It's okay.
Oh boy. 11?
You miss,
Jesus.
but you have a second
You get 2
attack.
attacks, yeah.
Got second
This
attack.
next one. This is the hotness.
This is the crit right here. Well,
Close.
It's a hit.
Okay.
Close.
All right. So roll damage. Chances are pretty good you'll kill him if you roll well. Like these guys don't have a ton of health.
Jinxed it.
That's 10.
Oh,
All right. So how much total?
17?
Yeah, kill him by 2.
Ooh, you get plus
So
7.
as this guy dies, you like bury your axe in his chest, and you can like in pulses, his heart's blood gushes down over your arms. He reaches out and grabs you by the beard and like yanks you to him as he's like tumbling backwards. And in broken common, he says, "The river," and barfs blood up on you, and he says, "She comes," and then drops away from you.
I take like one more huge attack.
Just
And cut
into
off
his
its
body.
head.
Yeah.
You got
All
a
right.
double tap.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
double tap.
Cool. So they're all dead. You've killed these creatures, and the crevasse is once again silent.
Okay.
And as usual, you're just like, drenched in
Yeah,
blood.
I'm covered in blood. I've
You
got
had
like
2 dudes throw blood in your face. Like, Pleh!
I've got
Yeah.
the axe kind of stuck, and you just see like the breathing start to slow down, and like I calm down. Turn around. You're probably still in bear form, but I turn to the two of them. He said something about the river.
What about it?
She's coming. I don't know.
Good. I hope so.
And so looking at their bodies, like they all have like wave or like motion, like marks in their armor or their face as tattoos. Yeah, this like 3 wavy lines, like sigil.
I guess I'd turn to him because he's the most. He's done the most exploring, to my knowledge. Have you met these creatures before?
I'm gonna say yes, but he never engaged them.
Okay.
Like seen them before, but like didn't just steered clear of them. Like kind of tailed them for a while. So he's just like once before. They're vile.
What are they
Yeah.
doing in our mountain?
I have no idea. But as you can tell, I mean, you want to steer clear of them. They know war. They know battle. That's it.
The one head that I just cut off, I like pick up and try to study its face.
Okay.
It's not orc. Or I mean, it's not dwarf.
Yeah, certainly
Never
not
seen
the
this.
not the face of a man or a dwarf. No.
Is this from the forest? I like
Hold
lob the
this-
head to you.
Have you seen this guy?
No, I just lob the head over your direction.
So I start making my way back over
Funkin'
to you.
rolls towards you.
Yeah, and I. Oh, sorry. So I kind of study the. So I kind of study the head, right? And you said that the lines are like on its face, right? Those wavy lines.
The leader, yeah, he had these like 3 black marks on his face, but they all have that motif somewhere on their armor or his scars. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen them before. They don't. I mean, I know I kind of look like them, but they're not mine.
Somebody can make a religion check if they want.
I can do it.
And while they're doing that, I was gonna use the bear. Does he have keen smell?
I don't know.
Oh,
Check.
she crit.
It does have keen
Nice.
smell.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
crit. Awesome. Okay.
You know
Yeah,
everything.
there's no question. You've definitely seen this mark before. And I think you think back to like being exiled from the village and like the people like casting you out, and the former like priestess of Nadi had a tattoo on her neck of these like 3 wavy lines, and you remember viscerally like her and her mask and all her long hair like throwing like ritually throwing like dirt at you and like casting you out of the village. Yeah, it's definitely her like sigil.
So, upon like recognizing the
Yeah, I
sigil,
see you in your eyes. You've seen that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these are warriors or protectors or something of Nadi. They're definitely hers.
I just like look towards him. You, like see the eyes, very very worried. I look towards the cat man.
What is she doing hiring these guys?
I'm still a bear.
He's like, "Brr."
I mean, I think that means we're close, right?
I look back at him. It's time to go home, Yum.
Like motion down the path.
Yeah, you're so close.
I'm not gonna talk to a bear, goddammit. I just.
I mean, it's not to be
I
difficult.
sit back and cross my arms and just kind of stare at you.
It's not to be difficult, but I'm trying to like ride out the rest of the hour that I have for bear in case something else happens.
I got you. I'm not gonna talk to a bear.
So as they're like having this exchange, I walk over to you and I kind of get down on your level because he needs to be healed. So I'm gonna start healing you, and then basically.
So do you want to take a short rest? Because a short rest is an hour and it lets you spend some of your hit dice.
That's a good
You
idea.
don't have time to do a long rest, but
Yeah.
you could take a short one.
I could stand
Okay.
to use
Okay.
a short
All
rest.
right.
Yeah. And
So
that-
let's do that first and then see where everybody's at
Also-
hit points
Okay.
and you can heal them.
I'm assuming with the short rest, any arrows and stuff these guys have. I've already recouped my
Yeah, let me see if you can gather some from the bodies.
arrows.
Yeah, there's 5. You can get 5 arrows.
Yeah.
him and me or just him?
Just total. You can split them up however you want.
You can have him.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It may be a stretch,
Alright.
but I was going to try to use the keen smell just to see if like if I smelled anything other than mountain on them, like they've been somewhere else or anything
Make
like
a
that.
perception check.
Okay. What's keen smell give me? I don't know. I got 19 perception. Where is it? 25.
So, yeah, we'll use the perception of the bear,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
which is a
sorry.
+1.
Okay, 20.
But yeah, so you smell on them. They're much cleaner smelling than they should be, like much cleaner.
Yeah.
You can smell blood, but that's just on top. They've just thrown that on, and you can smell like sweat from the fight, but they don't smell like as dirty as they look. And in fact, they have the same smell as like cold, cold water has kind of like a smell to it.
Right.
Yeah, they have this kind of like bathed in ice water like
Oh,
smell.
nice. It's spring clean.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Exactly. Yeah. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll also just make note of that to you guys after I turn back because we're going to take a short rest.
My mind went to what it feels like to chew 5 gum, and it's
Yeah.
like an
Yeah,
ice
it's
work
like-
going.
I can just see those guys like they're like bathing in the
Winter fresh.
You know, and then it just explodes.
There's a
into
nice
water.
waterfall. They're like
fucking
in the
Coors
stream.
Light ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone who has damage, which I think is just
Yeah.
you right now,
Yeah, I'm just
can
rolling my
spend hit
HP real
dice.
quick.
Yeah,
How
I'm
many
gonna
hit
do that
dice
too.
did you spend?
So far 2.
Okay.
And I'm at 39.
It's equivalent to your
so
level, right? So 5 for
You
me.
have 5 total.
What do I roll for the dice? Like the hit dice?
What do you normally roll to get hit points? D8s when you level? As a
What's your
as a
normal?
rogue? It's
60?
D8s.
9?
Okay.
So you have
Six.
5
Then I can just
up
roll
to
right here
5
and
up to
figure it out.
5 D8.
Oh yeah, it's D8.
Okay.
I'll just roll all of them.
Okay, sure. So you have
When I
fi-
roll
up
the
to
hit dice,
5
it says D8 plus 1. Am I doing that?
Yes,
again?
yeah.
Okay.
So
D8
each
plus
one is a
one?
D8 plus
Plus
1.
1. Got
All
it.
right, I'm maxed up.
Okay, so you spend all yours and
JP, do you know off the top of your head if the wild refreshes after a short rest at all?
Short rest for wild
4.
shape because you're moon druid. It does.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I'm like 99. I can look.
Oh, I can't find it in the compendium.
Yeah, let me find it real quick for you.
Okay, so you return to dwarven form.
I'm a dwarf.
Okay.
Hi.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
So you all take a rest, and then the plan is to press on, right, up to Mount Parvat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gather up and
Okay.
head that way. Anybody we gonna sneak anymore, or are we just gonna go in there?
Shit.
It's up to
Yeah,
you.
that's probably better
Sneaking?
to sneak. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this close, like, the mountain knows you're here, right?
I mean,
like,
yeah,
you're
that's the other
standing
point
on
is,
his
like-
body.
Right.
You can't hide from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, with that insider knowledge, we can just go. You having trouble finding
Yep, short rest.
it? Okay.
Okay. All right. So you press on up the mountain after an hour of rest. And I think that fairly quickly, the area, you've been following up this pathway, kind of like some places you have to climb, but you get to the bottom of a long stairway that leads up into the mist. There's this icy mist hanging in the air. The stairs are carved into the mountain. They're unmistakably ancient. There are stone lanterns that lead up on either side, and the stone lanterns are glowing with a blue light. It's like blue flame in them. They're sort of flickering. You can hear the wind catching these metal like bells that are like ringing in the wind. There's snow blowing around you, and you can see there are flags painted in, or they're like white cloth flags that are flapping in the wind as you ascend these snow-covered stairs. All of you have. Like the dwarves, you have like ice crystals in your beard. Your fur is like matted with ice, and you're ascending into the cold. And there is no question you can feel the presence of like the divine as you ascend these stairs. So so you continue to climb, and it takes several hours. It's long and cold, making your way up these stairs. The stairs are big enough that you can't take them in one step. Like, you have to kind of climb up them. The dwarves have to like clamber up, and they get bigger and bigger as you go up. And you ascend into the clouds, and finally, after an age, what seems like forever, you break from the sea of fog, and it's suddenly like clear. It's icy cold, but there's no more snow, no more fog. It's like when a plane lifts up over the clouds, and there's just brilliant blue sky everywhere, and then the peak of the mountain. There's like ice and snow all over everything. And the top of the mountain, there is a temple gate set into it that you're approaching. It has no door. But the whole place seems like eerily absent. There are no temple attendees. There were no guards to protect Mount Parvat's like stairs. You shouldn't have been able to climb the stairs this easily. Like, There's something wrong. What are you going to do?
I think, first off, at least for me, and if he doesn't, as a character, I definitely make him. But, like, this is probably a place of reverence for dwarves.
Absolutely.
So, like, the second we come over the cloud and see kind of the tip of it, I'd probably just, like, soak it in. I don't kneel or anything. But I have it's my way of showing reverence. I'm quiet. I stare at it. And if he doesn't think anything of it, I'm, like, visibly pissed off at you.
Well, I mean, I just see you sitting there staring, and like, what? Are you shocked again?
I shake my head. These kids don't understand.
You all right? Big moment for you. Looking around. Nobody's here, though.
You don't have a holy place?
I mean, not like a holy place per se, but
Well, we do. So stop talking.
it's not much here. I mean, it's pretty empty.
I like grab. Stop.
Just saying, it might be a little disappointing. That's all.
All right.
Yeah. Eventually, I come to.
Yeah, I'll join you in your moment of silence, as you seem to be getting mad about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you reach the top step, you can see there is a long hallway ahead of you, illuminated by the vast amount of sunlight that's sort of flowing through here. The roof is stone, but has slats opening up into it, so the light comes in and shines onto the walls. Ahead, there is a long stone platform. There's piles of snow, and in front of you, there is a great metal, like a brass, like bell with like it's sort of carved out of like a single massive piece of metal, and it's just sitting covered in like a rime of frost. And then beyond it, you can see that there are markings on the wall. And as you walk past the bell into the hallway, so dwarves don't have no one has like a written language, but dwarves have runes, and runes signify certain things. They're somewhere between art and language. Eventually, they'll become the dwarven written language, but each of them you can mark a name, or you can mark a house or an event with them, and on the walls, set into these alcoves, are millions and millions of tiny stone jars, and each jar is marked with the name of a dwarf. And the hall, as you walk through it, you realize, as impossible as it seems, contains a single earthenware jar for every dwarf who has ever died. Just billions, just this massive hallway, impossibly huge hallway. And it's lying dusty and quiet. The snow has blown in through the outside. It's sort of filled the hallway, but there's no sign of its custodians. If there was anyone that tended this place, they have gone. They've left it absent. But you feel a pull forward through the hall. You can sense Mount Parvat's presence ahead.
Well, at this point, my jaw's probably like...
Yeah, even Thorn at this point just well, okay, so that's impressive.
I think I'm so focused on the task still, and I don't have this impression of gods and deities that I'm trucking.
Okay, so you reach the end of the hallway, and there's a set of massive metal and stone doors, and they're marked with a symbol, a single sigil that means Parvat. It's the symbol of God, and it's embossed in the door, and the door is shut and frosted over.
I think I would use if I walk up to the door. Is my thaumaturgy if I bring up fire, is it going to do anything to the door? Not to ruin the door, but more to signify I'm here.
Yeah, totally. That's a thing you can do.
Yeah, that's what I would probably do. Walk up to because it's made out of ice.
Walks up and puts her hand on the door.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you burn a handprint into the ice and it melts away, and the door cracks open just at your touch and swings in. And as the door opens, you can see that there is a small mountain valley before you, a frozen mountain valley. There's a lake at the bottom of it, and the lake is frozen over. And even at this distance, it's hundreds of yards away. It'll take you some time to wind down there. You can see that there's a great dark shadow moving under the ice, some kind of enormous fish or something swimming under the ice. You can see a figure, a giant, stories tall, sitting at the back, but he's either dead or asleep, just sitting kind of head down, arms folded over his chest, snow kind of piling up around him. And right in front of you, there is the body of a dwarf, one of the rock dwarves that you saw before, but he's been crucified. So he's up on a wheel, a big wooden or stone wheel, and he's got nails through his hands and his feet hanging from this wheel, and his skin has been torn off. The body is frozen now, but there's a pool of blood at his feet, and his body is just there, and his eyelids have been torn off, and he just has this dead frozen stare. Yeah. Just this naked, skinless dwarf.
Well, damn.
I think Thorn, not to be disrespectful, but it's just so they ever tell you about all this, or it's pretty weird.
I kind of I acknowledge that you're talking, but I grab him. I still don't know that you understand Dwarvish, but I think you don't. I grab you and pull you real close. You shouldn't be here, Yom.
What they gonna do? Kill us? If we don't do anything, we're all gonna die anyway.
I'd push you away. Fine, go. I'm staying right here.
I think at that point Thorn goes, coward in Dwarvish.
My serious gaze, my eyes open even further and stare straight at you. And I just look back at you. I'm not going down there.
I think
that is the realm of gods, and I am not one. Neither are you.
Noticing that there's a dwarf that's been skinned and hung, and whatever they're saying, I don't know what it is, but it's probably about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn to both of them and just say, I don't think this is your fight anymore. If you don't want to go, I get it. This looks like this is probably not a place you will come back from.
The witch doesn't need us. This is not our place.
So
I say that in common too.
Yeah. So you hear a voice. It speaks in Dwarvish, and it takes a second before you realize that the voice is coming from the dwarf that's hanging on the wheel. So you hear this raspy voice, and you see him turn his head, and like tries to blink, like his face like squinches up, but he has no eyelids, so he can't. And he just rasps like, "Father, please." And he's like staring like at the two of you, just like eyes wide, crusted over with frozen blood.
There's probably like a saying in Dwarvish that you say before someone passes if you're there at their time of death. I say that and just cut his head off.
Okay. Yeah.
For the most respectful.
Yeah, totally.
death
Yeah, it's
possible.
not a disrespectful act. And yeah, his head like tumbles to the ground, but there's no blood.
I just turn again. Shouldn't be here.
Yalm's having trouble because he's like, "You're right," but at the same time he's like, "I got other shit to do too." Like the druid dwarf thing is just like, Yalm's not too sure what to do. But I'll still follow you.
You can stay here, and I'll go down and just wait. And if we need you, you'll see me come running.
What if you don't get a chance to run?
Catman's going with you.
If we don't get a chance to run, then we stay here, and they're no worse off for being here. This isn't my place of deity or
Now
worship.
we have issues entering the realm of the gods.
I don't. I'm fine with this. If I don't come back, I'm okay. But they still have things they need to do.
Staying here doesn't help the world at all. You know that the world's fucked up. It's not normal. It's not right. So what are you going to do? You going to wait until you die of old age to come here? Or what's going to happen if you die and you come here and it's still not right? Maybe you won't ever come here. Maybe your soul or whatever it is going to be lost. That's all I'm saying.
And looking back down into the valley, do you think he's dead or just asleep?
I don't know. But it's interesting, right?
I mean, he may need our help.
He's a god. He doesn't need our help.
Think about how grateful he would be and the legends they would tell.
I've got my own legends. If you want yours, go. I'll
I
stay
do.
here.
I do.
Okay.
But I would really appreciate it if you had my back.
I have your back, but I'm not going down there.
All right. I'll be waiting on you.
You're going to be waiting a long time.
You have my back.
At this door. At this very moment.
All right, don't let anybody through because, all the people that are the creatures that are following us, which is nothing out there. It's just strange, for us to be able to walk up into a god's domain.
It is.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, it's that we shouldn't be here.
All right.
I've
Well.
said my piece. Make your decision.
We've all made our decision. It's up to you to make yours. If you're staying here, then stay. We're going.
Okay, I just plop down.
Next to the headless corpse.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the three of you will descend down into the valley. Okay. So as you walk into this like frozen lake valley thing, every step that you take, you guys are unaffected, but every step that you take, the perfect like pristine marble of the stairs that you're walking down blackens under your feet like a bruise, right? Like veins spread out from it. You can hear whisperings. You don't understand them because they're in Dwarvish, but you get the gist of the tone, and it's like, "Get out of here, demon! Turn back! You don't belong here!" Like just like haranguing you.
Yeah, I think every couple steps, like as I don't know what they're saying, but it just starts to like irritate me more and more. And so I think that like the look of just absolute frustration and determination continues to get more serious and more stern as like we go forward. And I just continue to get more and more mad, right? Because I'm not here to hurt anyone. The point wasn't to be here to hurt. It was like to figure it out, to save this goddess, to do what we needed to do. And this is like another example of like now even the gods are judging me for something that's not my fault.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you descend the stairwell, and you reach the bottom. And there's a shore of white stones, like a beach of white stones. And then it's all frozen over this perfect, clear, like near transparent frozen lake. And there's some shadowy, like fish, vague shape moving around in the lake. Across the lake, you can see kind of like sitting at the other side is a figure. He's like 25 feet if he were standing, but he's sitting on his butt, and he has his knees kind of pulled up, and he's covered in like a thin layer of frost. And part of the bottom of him seems to be like one arm is like frozen to his chest, He has a long white beard that's all like tangled up and frozen to his arm, and he's like enormously fat. He's just like a big, kind of veiny, like rubbery, naked, bald dude, and he's just like sitting at the back of the lake. And as you approach the lake, there's a cracking sound. And maybe you look at the ice first because you think maybe that's breaking, but it's him like pulling his head free and like some of the ice breaking off. And he like opens his eyes and he looks at you and he opens his mouth to speak and then he like hiccups and like barfs up a bunch of water that like flows down him and like freezes on him. And you can see he's like crying and there's like water pouring out of his nose and his mouth. And he just looks at you kind of like he can barely see you, like you're blurry or something, but he notices that you're here. What do you do?
Is the ice cracking at all?
Nope, the ice is like fine.
But he's still partially frozen, or is that like?
Yeah, he keeps barfing up the water, and the water freezes on him, and he's like crying, and it's freezing on his face, and he has to keep opening his eyes and breaking the like ice that's forming there. He's like, yeah, super bloated. Like he's got pudgy like baby hands, and his feet are all swollen. His face, his cheeks are all big.
If I were,
Has he been drinking this water so much that he's swollen? Okay.
if I were to like, does like is the thaumaturgy only for effect, or like if I radiate heat, will
No,
heat?
no, you can't do anything.
It won't.
Serious
It's
with it.
just
to be like, check out my fucking
cosmetic.
demon wings.
Okay.
I'm scary. Yeah. So frighten mortals.
Yeah. I guess I would go. Can he talk at all, or every time
You'd
he
have to
opens
get closer
his
to him.
mouth?
You're
Yeah,
too
I'm
far
gonna
away.
go walk towards him.
Okay.
Or not on the water, by the way. Like
You have to. He's
you
sitting-
have to go
he's
on the
sitting on
water.
the
Okay.
ice, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna just start walking towards
Thorn
him.
kind of like just like before he walks is just like becomes kind of very afraid all of a sudden. He's just like, I think I might know what happened. Y'all want to save Nadi, but I don't know if she needs saving. Look at him.
Yeah, and you look over and he just kind of like blinks a couple times, and just like and like barfs up a bunch more water.
But if she's here doing this to him, everybody down below is still dying.
That's true.
So I think either way, either we're going to help him or we're going to find out if she's here. But either way, I'm not leaving without an answer.
Mountain King's not the one we got to worry about. But we're this far.
What was the guy's name again? Sorry.
Parwat?
Parwa?
Yeah, Parwat.
Parwat. Okay. So much information that Yam doesn't know, like your gift and.
I don't think I've noticed
Well,
it either.
I guess as we're walking across, I will yell out, "Parwat, is that you?" In Dorish.
Okay. Like he turns his head slightly and he like squints to see you, and ice like forms over his face, and he like hiccups, and a bunch of water like gushes out of one nostril, and he kind of like reaches up with like a chubby hand and just like grabs at you, and then like lumbers forward a little bit and like falls in the ice. And he's huge, right? So it's like
it's like
shakes
massive.
shakes the ground. Yeah.
Thorn kind of just looks at the ice and the figure in the water, and just starts like thinking, Nadi, is that you?
And there's just silence, just the slow movement of the thing under the ice. But you're still like walking towards him, right?
He's still quite at like a distance away from us.
Yeah. And I think eventually you do approach. You get within distance.
Yeah.
He can actually see you because he's like super myopic because his eyes are all swollen.
Yeah. So like as he's kind of like lurched forward as he's like talking to him in Dorvish, I don't know Dorvish, but I'm gonna like walk up and just say his name and wait for him to respond.
And he says, he nods and he says through like hiccups, he's like, "Have you brought a gift for the wedding?" And like sniffs up a bunch of water that's pouring out of his nose.
And so I say to him pretty sternly and agitated, "There is no wedding. We came for Nadi."
He shakes his head and his like wet whiskers like flop around. He's like, "Can't have her. Mine, finally." And like pats his belly.
Yeah. I knew it. Anyway.
So from my perspective, do I just see like two little specks here?
I mean,
One
you can
speck
see them.
closer.
They're pretty far from you, but you can see them moving around. You can't hear.
And I could see the big thing kind of moving its head.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can see it. Kind of
I'm just pacing back and forth. and
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll catch like stuff. But
I think at this point I think I realize what's going on, and so I'm just gonna like in a fit of anger grab the the hand axe like from my back and just like scream, and it's loud and it's quaking, and there's like these like flame, like I'm pissed, and I yell, "You can't have her!" and I just like fling this axe at it. It's gonna do nothing.
So, well, I mean,
like,
here's the thing: you take it, and you scream, "You can't have her," and then you feel another sudden presence. No one else feels this, but you feel it immediately, and you know instinctively it's whatever's under the water.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice in your head. It's a woman's voice, and she says, "You're angry, sister. This is good, but now is not the time."
So I'm kind of caught off. So I've already thrown the axe, right?
So you throw it and it like bounces.
It doesn't
off
do
his
anything. It's
belly.
like, so
Clatters to the stone.
as like I'm hearing this voice, I kind of like stumble back. And I think I again realize who this is. And so I'm just going to kneel down and for like the first time ever start actually praying in a language that if I think that it's actually naughty, like that's who I'm going to start praying to.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
speaking back in the only way that I think I can speak to.
So
her.
your praying annoys Parvat. You see him kind of like fall back and like he like swipes at you, but he can't reach you because he's just kind of rolling from side to side. And he's like, "Stop that! Quiet!" And like waves, and he's like, "She's not going to speak to you." And like lumbering, trying to get at you, but he can't. He keeps flopping around, and it's like shaking the ice. And she says, "Hush now, sister." And I think you can hear this now. Like you can hear her kind of whispering up from the ice. And she says, "I'm almost done. Let me finish with him. Then there will be a time for prayers."
So I'm gonna go from like kneeling on the ice, like just out of his grasp, and I'm just gonna sit like cross-legged, like and just sit there, like completely like stoic. I'm just gonna sit.
So what are the two of you doing? Because you can see, I think now, like because you're focused on him, like he's totally dying. He looks like he's drowning.
Yeah.
He's like trying to breathe, and like he's still all like, "Oh no," and like trying to keep her inside of him. But it's killing him.
I'm trying to decide, being like a hill dwarf, I don't know, probably wasn't even born in the mountain, but I still have a reverence for this god, and
But he might be a
dying
god
in
of
front
like
me.
an older time, right?
That's
like,
true.
Like
So I'm
like the Green Man said, like everything changes.
Right.
He's a god that I worship. Maybe not you. I'm 300.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
70 or whatever.
Would me like have gone from like attacking to praying to just completely being stoic? Would that have affected you at all?
It would be weird, but then I also hear the voice speaking.
Gotcha.
But then, so there's nothing I really can do other than just witness. So I will stand and watch.
Okay.
You hear the echoes of vomit. Can't do anything.
Shut up, Grandpa.
So so she says to you, "Long have these two desired me, tried for my hand. I've grown tired of it." And there's like you feel her like weariness, and she says, "The forest's constant desperation for my attention, Parvat's grasping. I'm done of both of them. I gave myself to this one as a ruse, and now I'm eating him from within. Soon I will be goddess of mountain and river. Nothing is outside of my reach." And you look up, and Parvat is like on his back, and he's just like trying to breathe.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna like.
And you can see his skin is getting like more and more transparent. Like you can see his veins, and he's gone from being like white to like almost like see-through.
So I put my hand down to the ice and just whisper, almost like in a prayer, but like just silently enough, just whisper, "Anything that you need me to do, I'll do."
Okay. Now you can feel in this moment, like pressing your hand to the ice, you can feel her presence like in this place, and she's eating it. But you can feel her hunger. She won't stop here. That if you let her kill Parvat, she'll go after Vanna next, right? That she'll drown the grassland, like she'll consume everything, which might be okay, right? She's hungry for power, and Parvat's a kind of an asshole, and so is Vanna, to be real. But that whatever happens, you can't stop the tide, right?
Right.
And it calls to mind, like, I think maybe we get this shot of you, like, closing your eyes, and you can see in the mountains these, like, tribes of orcs, all marked with the river sign, preparing, like, for war, like, crafting weapons and like, lighting fires. Like, they're getting ready to, like, sweep out of the mountain when she's finished with Parvat and, like, be her vanguard and go and, like, raise hell, basically, in her name.
So I'm gonna do that again. Like put my hand to the
and so this stuff is like all four of you are you see these visions, you hear these conversations. The communication that's taking place is happening in everyone's mind. You're all aware of this. There isn't any part of it that's
So we're hearing the voice or just the
hidden from anybody.
visions?
All of it. The whole thing. Yeah.
So I would, again to her, say, so many people are dying because of your absence, and so many more will die because of your vengeance. Is this really what you want to be known for? Is this the type of goddess that you want to be? Instead of life and water and giving, you're going to be someone who takes life and vengeance and bloodshed.
She says, long have they sacrificed to my waters, livestock, children drowned in my name. No more sacrifices. Now I take what I want.
Anyone else want to?
So this is all a conversation we're all hearing?
Yeah.
It's a toughie.
And and Parwat the whole time is just dying slowly, like choking on his own fluids. Or hers, I guess, both.
Yeah. I guess Vana is going to... Everyone will know what you've done here, and nobody is going to come after you now. They'll know what you're capable of. Can't you just go back and not make anyone else die because you've proven that you're equal? They know that you're stronger than them. There's no need to do this. We've all sacrificed loved ones and time and family to help you, but not for this.
I think she says, you don't understand. No one wants you, little devil. I am the river. I am beauty. Everyone desires me.
Thorn says, you're ugly.
Yeah. There's like a crack, like the ice like cracks a little bit, and there's like a rumble.
Thorn keeps going like, you're bad to your core. You confirmed everything I ever thought about the gods. They don't serve us. They're fallible.
I guess if I see the crack and this going on, I'll be like, I would never love a god as vengeful as you.
And then Thorn's like, do whatever you want with me. I'll never support you or anything like you. And neither there will be others.
So she hisses and she says, mortals, you think you're so important. Soon we won't need your servitude. Your prayers will be like nothing to us. We are building a grand kingdom. And I will be their queen. And you can feel her like anger like radiating up from underneath you.
Thorn feels like oddly calm at this realization of everything. And he's like, it's just the opposite. I'm nothing. You think you're important. You want to be more than what you're supposed to serve. It will be your undoing. Not from me, maybe, but eventually you'll lose your power.
So to you, she says, and you look up and we see Parvat has gotten himself like kind of up on his butt again. He's leaned up against the mountain, and he's he's like blind. His eyes are just like clear now. He's becoming kind of gelatinous, and he tries to breathe, and something tears. There's like a slight like ripping sound, and water starts to just like gush out of a hole in him, and he tries to like stop it with his hands, and his hands start getting like watery and like dripping off of him, and he kind of looks at you like, what's happening? And Nadi says to you, she says, the tide is rising. Come with me or drown.
I'm going to whisper back to her, I would rather drown than serve a goddess whose point is war and vengeance. War isn't beautiful, and this isn't who everyone thinks you are.
And she just says, so be it. And he just like rips open, and water just starts to gush out of him, like so much that it's like a tidal wave, like it just immediately pours out. And the three of you need to run like hail, or you're gonna get drowned in this place.
Yeah.
You see this, right? You see Parwat like grab himself and then just turn inside out, and just water start gushing out of where he was. And the lake, the ice starts to crack. The sort of fish shape is like banging itself up underneath the glass to break and to get at you. And this tidal wave just is rushing behind you.
Yep.
You got a head start. What are you gonna do?
I'm still at the silver doors.
You're
right?
up at the door. Yeah.
Do the silver doors open opposite the way of the water?
They are opened this way, and then the water is gonna come this way. It'll have to fill the valley and then rush out through the doors of heaven.
Okay.
Or like Parwat's domain or whatever.
I mean, I can't really outrun that much water. No one really can.
Yeah, I mean the water is a metaphor, right? So
Right,
like,
no, I got
this
you, I
is
got
it's all
you.
heroic. So you can make an attempt to flee. You can flee Parwat's domain. I was more interested in, do you wait for Yam to get to you and then make sure he gets out, or do you just turn and run now?
No, I'm definitely waiting.
Okay,
I mean, that's
so-
my job, is to make sure he gets out safely. So I
Okay.
notice the water start, pouring out of the guy's body, and I kind of start to pace faster and faster. So I knew this wasn't going to go
Yeah.
well.
Sure. So the three of you are down in the valley, and you want to try to like make a run for it. Is that the plan for everybody?
I'm gonna run behind them to make sure that they get to the doors.
So I think, you can feel the seed of power that the Green Man planted in you. You could try to use that to like hold the water back, or at least buy time for your friends if you want to.
Yeah. So my plan was originally to follow them up to the door, then push them and shut the door, and then like let them have time and then fight whatever was left on the other side. But yeah, if I can notice that earlier, then I'll do it now.
So the power that's inside you, you can like let it spring forth. You can feed off of the water as Vana has always wanted to, and let it like grow. But it will be you'll be sacrificing yourself to like contain her power for now. Is that something that you're willing to do?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What does it look like? Because again, it's all of this that's happening is the like heroic depiction layer. This is the story that the elders will tell the children later. But like, it's all on a metaphor. You're in the gods' realm now. So,
Right.
What shape does your self-sacrifice take, and how do you slow Nadi?
So as the water's turning, because we've used the same kind of like smoke and air and wind type thing, so it basically turns into anywhere that the water tries to flow, there's kind of like an invisible like air wall that like makes it pop up and it goes in another direction, and I'm pushing it that way, right? So at every turn and flow, there's like a different kind of invisible like force that's like you can see these
Right,
like
smoke
tidal
and
waves.
water
Yeah.
crashing into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
so
you're like Mickey in Fantasia.
yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
Cool.
good a good way to do it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of that way, right? To allow them time to get where they need to go, and it's
Okay.
rerouting and building frustration right at the same time.
So the two of you are able, with Salix's sacrifice, to flee. You reach the top of the stairs in time to meet up with Vama. What do you do? Do you just like you book
Do you
it?
just run past me? Yeah.
Running? Oh yeah, we're like grab at you and try to get you to follow us out.
Yeah, no, I run
Yeah.
immediately. I think you like get close to the door, and I say, "Where's the witch?"
When you say that, I think Thorn, like, as he's running, he like stops the last point that he can look back and like just to kind of burn it into his mind, like what's happening, and he sees like this crazy power emanating from her, and he's just so confused and sees the water and all that stuff, and realizes what she's doing, but doesn't understand how it's happening, and then just slowly turns and then runs.
I like try to grasp it. He's, "Where's the witch?" as you run by.
She doesn't say anything.
She's buying us time. Let's go.
That son of a bitch. I just run with you.
All right. So you're able to flee with her sacrifice and get away from the immediate situation, but Nadi gets eventually what she wants, right? Like, she's slowed but not stopped. She consumes Parwat, destroys the mountain. I think the mountain erupts, basically like a geyser of steam and ash, and then her divine water flows out, floods the valley. And her orc like tribes basically spread out into the world and start murdering in her name and like gathering power, which is what causes them to leave their mountain domain and go into the kingdom of the dwarves, right? So
I think,
so let's talk about Epilogue. So this is a thing that happens in the long term, but what do the two of you do immediately after this? Where do you go and what happens?
we escape. We're probably at the foot of the mountain or something like that.
Yeah, if it kept going, I was gonna be like, "Let's Great Eagle, I'll grab you guys. Let's fly out of here." But no need now. So
So we're probably the three of us standing out, and we're catching our breath, hunched over. I stand back up and look at him and say, "Told you that wasn't our place."
and Yam's like, "What the fuck?" Like just disbelief. Not
You
much
see
for
those
conversation.
visions?
Yeah.
I look towards him and say, "Talked about seeing interesting things. Have you seen what we're doing inside the mountains?
Yeah.
You want to see him up close and personal? We could use a cat-like mind in there."
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean the dwarves keep their secrets well, so being invited into the
He took a time to think about it, and then he's like, all right.
I turned to him. We got to go back and warn them. We know what's coming.
So what's cool would be like in the distant future, like archaeologists don't understand why the tabaxi and the dwarves have like some of the same technology. They're like, this belongs in dwarven halls. Why did we find it in this tabaxi tomb?
Yeah.
And no one can figure it out. But there was like in some small part of the world, some like sharing of that information.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I think probably the diplomatic work that you were doing to keep the mountain and the hill dwarves together kind of crumbles a little bit because the mountain dwarves blame this human goddess for the death of Mount Parvat, right? They're like, Nadi was a human god. We blame the humans.
I think I tell a different story because I know that that's going to cause issues. And I basically say like a human sacrificed herself so that people of all types could live.
Right. So what's ironic then is in that story, if the three of you agree to tell it that way, the fact that you were half demon gets erased from history, right? Like the dwarven paintings of the witch that like bought time for the heroes to escape is portrayed as a human, not as a tiefling.
I saw how people treated the demon.
Yeah.
I know the story wouldn't work, but the story's got to make it's the way to make people believe. So
Sure.
in order to do that, I make sure it's a human that saved us.
Right.
So we got to work together against these orcs, and if we don't have teamwork, if we're not working together, we're going to lose.
So is it now that instead of like the river flowing from the mouth cave, it just like flows from the top of the mountain?
Yeah. There's like all these waterfalls that come down.
I want to say
the grasslands are flooded. They become like a swamp, like a floodplain.
Right.
I want to say too that's probably like a point of like contention amongst Thorn and like arguing, like viciously arguing, like they need to know, and he's like trying to hit me with logic and
again, like probably. I don't imagine that you would be able to keep that story to yourself, like the true part of it, and that there's an alternate version that isn't as widely told. It wasn't recorded in stone by the dwarves, where like actually, so probably in the distant future, like demon-born, like tieflings, they have this thing about like, there's this apocryphal story of the witch that like saved these dwarves, and that like goodness still remains in tieflings, even though they're like evil on the outside. Yeah. Sweet. That's super cool.
Because I don't think Thorn would have been able to like.
No,
like
you wouldn't.
It would eat away at him over and over and over. So he eventually just started like telling people like what actually happened.
You were talking about how Tabaxi ended up with dwarven technology. You probably just stole it.
That was
You
the
probably
payment for line.
just got pissed off at us because we were trying to tell a lie.
Yeah. And every time that he tells the story too, he vividly recalls that, like him turning around, looking back, and he describes every little detail and how she didn't move and everything in crazy detail.
And the hill dwarves and the mountain dwarves would work together to fight this new war with the orcs, right? These orcs that worship the Black River, and even though the dwarves win, or they go on to fight several more wars with them. They're at war with them for a long time, but they eventually will win because the mountain dwarves' god is dead. Because Parvat is dead, they start to like dwindle and become the like non-dominant part of the dwarves. And by separating from Parvat, the hill dwarves grow like plentiful and kind of merge with humans. And I dig it.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's that. That is the primordial arc. We've glimpsed a dark past, some 10,000 years before the game, and seen some mythological actions. So that was really cool. Thank you, everybody. That was real fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll be returning to Court of Swords. JP will talk a little bit more about that. But let's do some shout outs before we say goodbye to the episode. Let's begin where we began. Ken?
Woo, man. Well. That was a lot of fun. It was the easiest 8 hours of playing a game that I've ever had. But I'm Cinnamon Ken, YouTuber, streamer. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've had a blast. It's my first roleplay live, and it's been a great experience. If you want to look me up, of course, Cinnamon Ken across the board, Twitch and YouTube. We have our own D&D show, Charisma Plus, that we play, and I always enjoy playing Adam's games and learning new things, new ways to look at stuff. And Yam, by the end of the story, he was just kind of like, you guys got this. Go ahead.
Yeah. I definitely think, too, you ushered in like a new age of dwarfs with the understanding of nature and whatnot.
Right.
Because the old guard died with me, or around the same time as me.
Yeah, with your generation. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed wearing the bear hat, being the barbarian, and that's it. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Ken. Max, looking lovely, just killing it. 8 hours of hot stuff.
Yeah, 8 hours of sexy cat gloves and things. I'm Max, or GassyMexican, YouTuber, streamer, all that, variety streamer. But second time doing a live show. It was a blast the first time. I think it went by quicker this time for whatever reason. I really thought we had a lot of good like pacing in terms of RP and battle and things like that. And also just the unique perspective of being able to like form some of like the mythological, stuff that's been passed down for hundreds and hundreds of years. We're not thousands of years back, are we?
We're 10,000.
Okay, we are. So
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of years. Being able to like experience that, and I know it was like for the viewers too, is probably a little like, who are these people? But part of it is just like that ride from the beginning to just the little shabby tabaxi kind of thing, and then you find out this crazy journey then with these other people that he linked up with. I had so much fun. We'll talk more about it, I'm sure. But yeah, always love these live shows. Love Court of Swords, and look forward to being back as Berg, the lovable half-orc.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Max. Our other lovely guest, Erin, self-sacrificing mom of the episode.
I did. Yeah, I wasn't sure where that was going to go. We've been working on finding this river goddess for so long, and I didn't expect her to be evil. But I mean, there you go. Love hath no fury, right?
Evil is a point of view. We'll talk more
Yeah.
about my thoughts on these NPCs.
Yeah.
on Patreon.
You can find me everywhere at Aurelian, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. It was fun being on this side of the cameras for the first time. But yeah, I really
and
enjoyed
not
it.
as a Jawa.
And not as a Jawa,
true.
not as like the person running in and fixing things that fall down. But yeah, it's been a really, really good time. Thanks for DMing. Thanks everyone for playing. Hope everyone liked it.
Cool. And JP.
Yeah. First off, it's 50 episodes, so that's a pretty big achievement for roleplay. Usually
Yeah.
shows end, but we're going to be back. You said you're going to be playing Berg. The 7th of November, the first Tuesday of November, is when Court of Swords will return with the main cast, myself, GassyMexican, DansGaming, and our guest, and probably going to be on there for a while, is going to be Ezekiel the Third. You've seen him in West Marches if you watched some other roleplay stuff, playing D&D, and he was in Blades most recently. And we're looking forward to kind of what he brings. He brings RP to the table, man. That guy's a role player.
Yeah,
through and through.
I got to play D&D with him a few times, and I've obviously GM'd for him. And yeah, Zeke is really fun to play with. I think he's going to bring some interesting stuff. I'm really curious to see what kind of character he makes.
Yeah, and I think too we made some changes. You might have noticed some in today's show, but we'll talk a little bit about those. We'll probably do a Patreon video between now and then with me and Adam. And we got the Q&A coming up sometime this week on Patreon. We'll post about that. But yeah, huge shout out to Scoots and Aurelian for making the set, producing the set.
Absolutely, yeah.
These live shows are really kind of just a labor of love for both of them. I just sign checks. They make it all happen. So shout out to both of you guys for doing that. And then, of course, Adam for GMing.
That's
Huge
me.
shout out to you.
Absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah. I like doing these live shows. They're always a little bit of a challenge because we only have the 8 hours to tell the story, and so pacing them is always a game. I'm like chasing how hard to push and when to like put the brakes on, but it's always fun.
That's always my thing that I'm like surprised by, and I don't know how you're going to do it or how you do it a lot of times, but you do it.
He does. That's what I told Ken. It's like this always happens. I don't know how he's gonna do that in an hour, but he'll do it. He'll figure it out.
Cool. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. I had a really good time.
Yeah, and I think that's it. We're gonna record a Patreon video, so that'll be up probably tomorrow, because there's a little bit of a export process with the TriCaster and stuff like that. But VODs will start going up most likely on Monday for this on YouTube. Of course, you can subscribe if you missed it. And if you're already subbed, you can go watch the VOD. It should already be up right now. But yeah, I think that's it.
That'll do
Thanks
her.
everyone so much for watching throughout the day, and we'll be back on the 7th.
Yeah. See you next time, everybody.
Yeah.